Hello, everybody. My name is Justin Angelo Giannagudo, but call me Justin for the sake of simplicity. And this is my video analysis presentation. Yay! Welcome. So, for my presentation, the short film that I chose to cover is I Wish You Were My Mother. Now, the reason why I chose this film is that this film was made by Chris D'Elia. She's a good friend of mine who I've known since high school. We both were in our school's media club, which was called Saber Media, where we worked on making short films and photography and doing editing and such. I personally love this film due to the personal connection I made with it and her films before, because having known her in high school, I've experienced what she can do, and it's amazing. And I love her sense of style and her storytelling. And some added background, I know that she did enter this into the GOC Film Festival, and I don't think it's not well known yet, but it's an international creative community focused on facilitating collaborations and providing platforms for emerging artists. And when she did this, I was so proud of her. And there's also a link, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, so for you to enjoy. So moving on to our analysis, we will start off with narrative. Okay, starting off with narrative, there isn't much of a fictional narrative going on due to the very fact that this is more of a documentary, as she even put in her description, a short documentary of her mother. The narrative is focused on the story of her mother, as Krista recounts the little things about her mother and narrates and shows the audience glimpses into what her mother is like, and it feels as though this is a dedication and heartfelt message to her. Cinematography wise, the filmmaker does make use of her shots and does it rather nicely. And some shots that I've been able to identify and analyze, some shots include, and I noticed, extreme close-ups, wide shots, and I think there was one scene where she did a close-up, but with like a low angle. I was about to say large angle, low angle. And I think the purpose of these shots was for us, the audience, to really get to know her mother, to really dive into her mother's character, though taking in the little mundane and everyday things that a mother can do around the house. Like, for example, like the introduction where she's just cutting mangoes and she's giving a slice to her son. That's something a mother would do because it's the little things and the little mundane things. And to add, her use of B-roll really does set the tone and scenery of things. So I love that. Editing. For editing, I thought her editing was really good. Her transitions are perfect and doesn't seem to throw off a sense of balance and rhythm. The structure follows a documentary style, so quick cuts are to be expected, cutting in between different scenes, shots, and narration. Her pacing is also great as well, because it feels like the film takes its time to really allow the audience to enjoy the moments the filmmakers wants us to see. So yeah. Sound, last but not least, sound. The way the sound is used, I would say it feels like it comes as a harmony with the film. I don't know if you know what I mean, but the natural sound present in B-roll footage in some scenes, such as like cutting grass or doing chores or like looking at trees just waving in the background as B-roll footage. It just feels like it harmonizes well with the scene and sets the tone within the household. The narration gives the film the documentary feeling, and the use of musical intro and outro seems to fit well with the tone of the film, because it doesn't the lack of musical sound between the film really just makes this a perfect good documentary. Now, strengths and weaknesses. Starting off with strength. Overall, I think the filmmaker here checks off every strength. Like, not even kidding. Okay. Narrative, she presents a clear and direct story with a heartfelt and moving feeling. Her use of narration conveys those feelings and expresses them in a loving way. She creates a connection to her audience that supposedly or will probably have a similar experience. Cinematography, her use of cinematography was really well used to focus on her mother and show us the kind of personality and character that she holds, to express those little moments that humanize and help make a connection to the audience. Editing has a good flow of things throughout the film, and use of sound was well balanced as it didn't really interfere with the film. Okay, weakness. Yes, I know there's only one thing, but I would like to say that I am blind, both figuratively and literally, because I have bad vision and I wear glasses. But when it comes to weaknesses, I, in my most honest opinion, couldn't find much weaknesses within the 5 factors that play within this film. But I managed to think of one with a narrative sense. There is a lack of background information on who her mother is. As documentaries goes, there should be some background information behind her main focus, and I guess that's one weakness I found. So I apologize for my lack of identifying the weaknesses in critiquing. So, and so here are some anticipated questions that I thought of. One, did you personally like? What did you personally like about the film? As I said, I had a personal connection with this film. I have a similar experience as both my parents are immigrant moms and Filipino, and you know, I connected with it, and I understand what she went through and all these little things that just make sense to me as a Filipino and like a child of immigrant parents, and that's what I personally like. Number two, is there anything you disliked about this documentary? That it was 9 minutes long and it was short, because I wish it was longer. Three, was there any information left out? I guess a little more knowledge on who her mom was before having kids and such. I guess that is, if this is going to be a documentary, there should be at least like some little background information about her. Four, can you relate to the filmmaker's viewpoint? Absolutely, absolutely. My Krista's Filipino. I'm Filipino. I absolutely understand this viewpoint, and it just makes sense because like Filipino mothers can be this tough, loving, but sometimes sweet and caring, and doing like the little things for us to show us that no, we love you, even though we don't show it at all. So that's I can relate to the filmmaker's viewpoint. And five, what do you think the message of this film is? I think it's all about loving the people that like raised you in the best way you can. I know that some experiences where parents aren't always in the picture, either some left, some passed, and such. But I think just loving the people that have guided you throughout your like childhood and like loved you the best way they can is to just is the message here. And I think I think that's it. So yeah. So the end. Thank you for listening, and I hope you guys have had a great time. Thank you.